Sawadee Krap and welcome to another Funkit Pod episode here again, this time for the Academic Corner, the time of the week when I chill here in paradise in beautiful Bangkok. Beautiful is a stretch, but in my beautiful small academic corner here, and just recap what happened this week in academics, hoping to just create a space here where more people can feel free to share what's happening, either in the comment section, via email, social media interaction, or maybe then even while we talk about stuff here on the podcast, which would be cool. So this week in academics, I had before I start, I actually had a nice interaction on Mastodon, of all places, because, Twitter, lots of people leaving and it's not working that well anymore. Now third-party apps start to crash in many places. So I think especially in the academic circle, I see more traction now on Mastodon. I've been on Mastodon for a while. Early adopter, and now I see just more posts in like the academic area of things like with hashtag academia and so on, and hashtag university and whatnot. And I had a quick interaction with someone, and like someone from Europe, and she said that, or she shared an article that stated that right now universities seem to struggle with attendance in classes because now post-COVID, students are used to having online classes, so they're not taking attendance as serious anymore now when it comes to on-site classes, offline classes. And so now lots of universities seem to struggle with attendance. And when I thought back now to our last semester, the first semester completely back on site, I mean, yeah, it's not always 100% attendance, but it wasn't worse than before, at least not in my classes. So sure, like in the beginning of the semester, more students are there than at the end of the semester, which is normal usually, but it's not like there's like a drastic drop-off compared to pre-COVID. So I found this very interesting. So if you want to jump on, like either use the hashtag academia or university on Mastodon or on Twitter too, or just simply holler at me. I always want to say that in a sentence, and now it's the first time I said it. Holler at me. It's at @SafeFun on all those platforms, so just shout out. I appreciate it. Okay, but now back to what I actually wanted to quickly discuss here in this week's Academic Corner, which is, the first week of the new semester is done and dusted. And it was fun so far, I think. I had 2 classes so far. My third class will start after the midterm. And so far, so good. It was fun. It was introduction classes where I said, hey guys, this is what's going to happen and so on. But then also jumping into a few topics already. Students seemed motivated. I required active learning classrooms for all of my classes, which means like more space. You can move the tables around. In the actual active learning classroom, you have whiteboards and all those things. So if you do like I do lots of group work. If you do like group work, then you can like place them with the whiteboards, and they can put stuff on their stickers, write on there, and so on. So that worked quite well, because that's something they don't do in all the classes. So that's a bit different. I think the second class is bigger. Like I got like 86 students or so, and so that's in a classroom where there's no whiteboard. But at least I can move the tables around, like they're on wheels, so we can move the tables and the chairs. So I can still do some group work. And then what I usually do is I have MS Teams, which is our LMS basically. I have MS Teams open, and then I have them post live on MS Teams from their devices. If I have a question for the class, I'm like, okay, answer now, either like via the microphone and I walk around, but I'm also saying like, if while I'm walking around, please post your answer on the screen, and so then you can see it live popping up the answers to the questions when I ask them to share examples or whatever, which is also nice because it leads to some interaction, leads to some laughter. I made them share because it was the first class, or in my first year class, I'm like, okay, we need to find some groups, and we need to get a group name and then of course a group picture so I know who's in the group. And then they posted obviously funny like posing pictures, and that led to a nice interaction. Just like in the first class, everyone was laughing, everyone had fun, which is good to start things off on a positive note, right? So that was fun. The not so fun part, well, it's still fun to some extent. Evaluations are in. Semester evaluations are in, and I also then just check the academic community on Twitter as well as on Mastodon. And yeah, so I know Facebook, there are also like pages that post about that. So I think we're all in the same boat. Like your evaluations, like either you're the best teacher ever or you're the worst teacher ever, right? So you never hit the sweet spot of like everyone likes you. Or you never hit the terrible spot where everyone hates you usually. So it's always like some students love you, which is awesome. Some students just hate you because, I don't know, you didn't give them an A even though they showed up to 2 of your 16 classes, something like this, right? So it happens all the time. Like, I think evaluations per se are just ridiculous, I think. No, let me rephrase that. Evaluations are important, but the way that most universities are doing it, it's ridiculous. Like the way we do it, it's like paper evaluation. So like in the last class of the semester, the admin staff comes to class, hands out papers, so now you can evaluate your prof. 10 minutes, fill out a paper, and then they collect it right away. What? Like lots of, I've seen, not that we do that, but I've seen it in other universities where I used to work before, that actually lecturers would stand next to students like, what are you ticking off there? Ridiculous. Of course, I'm not doing it. I'm not even looking at like them while they're filling it out, obviously. So that's ridiculous. Like especially during the last class, right, of the semester, when they are stressed, it's like the class before the final exam. In many instances, students are stressed. Maybe they just had a final project, so they're like, everything sucks, and then they ask to evaluate. Fantastic. Also, the questions. Those questions. So I'm not a native speaker, right? I'm from Germany, but I mean I've been living and working in English-speaking countries, or English has been my primary language for the past 20 years or so. My students, they all speak English very well, but it's not their primary language. And those questions, they're clearly like, I know, copy and pasted from wherever they found it. It's like, I have to read some of those questions twice to understand what the question actually means. Does the lecturer, and then there's some fancy ass words that no one ever used in real life that they found in a dictionary somewhere, or I don't know, from 1865, or that they copied from like whatever university website they were stealing from, getting inspiration from. I'm sorry. And so half the students don't even understand the question. And can blame them because it's worded terribly. It's like those super long sentences with like the weirdest words possible just to sound super academic. Terrible. And then, of course, who's actually really taking time to thoroughly evaluate? It's either the students that enjoy your class a lot, they like you a lot, they're like, yeah, let me give you some feedback, that was cool, I like this, I like that, which is awesome. Or it's the students that hate you and they just very often make up shit. Make up, beep. I know the lecturer had like random assignments. I'm like, I show you the syllabus in the very beginning. I meant the assignments are on MS Teams posted. Like you get reminders, don't forget the assignment. What's random about that? There's nothing. So things like this, right? The big body in the middle, the ones that are okay with the class, of course, they don't say much, right? Obviously, they're like, yeah, whatever, okay, that's it, awesome. So in order to counter that, what I usually do, and I've read it now on social media, that a few others do that too, apparently, which is cool. So I have my own evaluation. I ask them around the midterm time. I'm like, hey, so we did the first half of the semester right now. I'm just curious. Here's a reflection so that you can reflect how you did so far, what you learned so far, and then also here's a reflection / evaluation to how you enjoyed class so far, and what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it, so that we can still adjust it. We still have time, so we can figure things out. And it's anonymous, of course, also. So sometimes there's some BS in there. Sometimes there's some jokey stuff in there, which is fine, of course. But usually it leads to like some interesting feedback that actually is constructive to some extent, and I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, maybe I should do this. Maybe I should do that. I never changed the complete class structure, of course. So if someone says, the assignments suck, I'm like, yeah, sorry, but as an example, it's a digital marketing class, so we do have to talk about latest digital marketing trends. I'm sorry. If you don't like it, maybe like that's the wrong class. If you don't like to talk about marketing, maybe you shouldn't take digital marketing classes, for example, right? But generally speaking, there is some decent feedback in there that you can use. And also, you still have time to use it. So students see that their voice is heard and that based on their voice, you're actually changing something, which also tells them, hey, my feedback is appreciated. The end of the semester feedback, those students that give you feedback, they don't see the change anymore, right? So this whole feedback thing, evaluation thing is ridiculous. I know it's a KPI at basically every university, but there must be a better system. Also, last class was the class of the semester. Of course, everybody's there. Even the terrible students, they're going to come to the last class of the semester because either it's the presentation time where they have to be there and then they try to fake participate, or it's the class before the exam, so they hope that there's an exam review and they get some pointers, and then they give you the shitty reviews, right? So the review system should be better, I think. And I think it would be easy. Now we are all used to online LMS, so why not do something there? Why not, have attendance? And I don't check attendance, but maybe then I would, or may have attendance coupled to you're only allowed to give an evaluation if you attend 80% of the class, for example. Things like that. So maybe this could be like you could have like a non-mandatory attendance check. Like you can check in for your attendance if you want to. If you don't want to, you don't have to. But if you check in and do the attendance check, then in the end you get to evaluate your professor, for example. I haven't thought it through yet, but there should be a better way to get evaluations, because evaluations are important, yes, and we should know like how teachers perform. Obviously, I just don't think that the current system that most universities use is a good system. But hey, let me know what you think about your evaluations. How have they been? Do you care about them? Do you take them into consideration? Do you just ignore them? Let me know what you think. At funkitpod@gmail.com is the email. Like, share, subscribe. That would be cool. Rate that podcast. It would be also cool because then more people can find it. Hopefully we have kind of bigger discussions. And hey, maybe if the audience grows, maybe we will fix student evaluations. Well, that's it for this week or for today. Let me know your thoughts. As always, take care. Stay safe. Sawadee Cup.